Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the best teams in the Great League right now in 2024 September. So first team we're going to be looking at Clodsire, which is number 1 on PvP, an extremely strong pick, Mandibuzz and for Alligator Shadow. This team you're going to see absolutely everywhere. It's a very popular team because it's fairly easy to get and it's incredibly powerful. It gets a BAAA, which is very, very good, and as you can see, it doesn't have many core breakers at all. It is a little bit weak to ice and grass, but obviously we can take care of those. So now we're going to be looking at the next team. It's going to be Malamar, which can also be replaced with Pangoro, both very, very strong picks. But we're going to be sticking with Malamar and Drapion Shadow, very, very good safe swap in this meta and very, very oppressive as well as Skunk Tank, which can just tear through teams with boosts. It doesn't get the best grading on the rankings, but it's still a very, very strong team. I went 19 and 6 with it yesterday. It does have quite a few core breakers, but obviously you can overcome them pretty well. Next team we're going to be looking at, we've got Jumpluff Shadow, which can also be just be the normal Jumpluff. It sacrifices a little bit of damage for health, so we can also use Gastrodon and Carbink, or Aurorus, or Sandslash Alolan. The last two are budget picks, but Carbink, probably the preferred one in this meta, but depends on what you like to use. It gets a decent score in rankings, and as you can see, it does very, very well into the meta. Only core broken by Skarmory, Cradily, and quite a bit by Clodsire and Jumpluff as well, but obviously you can overcome those. Next team we've got starts with Azumarill, which can possibly be XL, but the one I've built was an 11-15-15, which is not XL. We're going to be pairing it up with Clodsire and Gastrodon, but Clodsire can be replaced with Typhlosion Shadow, which is an extremely powerful Pokemon. I really enjoy using it. Clodsire, you do want Sludge Bomb on it, as it will be better against those grass types that our first two Pokemon struggle against. Very, very strong into a few Pokemon. Cool broken by Abomasnow, Venusaur, Skarmory, Trevenant, Mantine, Hypno, Pidgeot, and Gastrodon, but none of those you see too often. Into the next team, we see Typhlosion Shadow, which is a very, very powerful Pokemon, as well as Golurk Shadow, is super oppressive with the Mud Slaps, as well as Machamp Shadow, which is extremely fast to his moves and also extremely powerful. It gets an F for bulk, but it's a really cool triple Shadow team, which I do suggest using for fun. It can climb you a good amount of ELO. I went 15 and 8 with it. So it's a fun pick as well as a pick that can help you gain ELO and climb. So core broken by quite a few Pokemon, but that's alright. Next team is going to have Clefable in the lead, which is a cool Pokemon, but it's a little bit inflated in its rankings because PvP always simulates you get the bait call. I mean, the opponent shields your bait, and Clefable has a very powerful bait, which is Swift, which only costs 4 Fairy Winds. Now we're going to be pairing Clefable up with Swampert and Mandibuzz, which are other two very powerful Pokemon. Even though Swampert was nerfed, the nerf wasn't that bad. Now we're going to be looking at budget teams now. So here are some examples of fairly budget Pokemon. Now, first budget team we're going to be looking at is going to be starting with Clodsire, quite a budget Pokemon, not XL, only 50,000 XP, Stardust and Candy, 2 double move, Lurantis, another fairly budget Pokemon, and Mandibuzz, a little bit harder to get, but you probably have one by now. It's a C for coverage, A and BB, which is pretty good. You are going to be pretty weak to Clodsire, which might be a little bit of a concern, but obviously this team still works well, so feel free to use this. If you run into Clodsire, that's completely fine. he'll find a way. Now, next Pokemon we're gonna see will be Sandslash, which can actually be a really good core breaker in this meta, as well as Gastrodon, another fairly good pick, and Toxapex. This one is a little bit hard to power up as it gets into the high 30s, but you can definitely still get like a really high V1 and power that one up, as it won't make too much of a difference. It's a very powerful team, going to be core broken by Dusknoir, Scizor, Dusclops, and Gastrodon, so that's alright. Now next we're going to be looking at the very powerful Marowak. Now obviously the Shadow is probably preferred, as well as Abomasnow is fine, and Aurorus in the back is a very powerful Pokemon. So this is a very easy to build team. It gets decent rankings, and as you can see, it's triple strung into Clodsire. Clodsire going to be seen on pretty much every team. Yep, that's one of the biggest parts of this team. Triple strung into Clodsire. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope that you can try out some of these teams and have some success. Thank you.